Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction to read-through for Kubera Season 2, Episodes 107, 108, and 109. The first half of The Last Resort. Very excited to read as I always am, so yeah, I don't think there's anything I need to do for like a long intro or anything. We're kind of, I guess, just continuing where we were, because we were kind of jumping around a bit. It's not like we had a tight focus for the last section, so yeah. I guess there's not too much else to say other than let's start reading. So yeah, as usual, I'll go through all three of these chapters, all three of the afterwards. And yeah, now that I'm sitting down recording, I'm just like, was there anything else to say? I guess there really wasn't. We'll talk about things as we go through it, so let's get started. We have Rintalo here. Oh, it's Kasek. Kasek, he's so cool. Jeez. Everyone goes crazy over anyone who's cool and strong. Have they already forgotten about the great upheaval? Try to understand them. No matter how many people that dragon killed, it's someone else's business to them. It's always like that. People treat stuff like it's no big deal if it didn't happen to themselves. People don't understand unless they're involved. And we have Lila putting on her hat. A edgy blue guy with the Riku eye cover blindfold. Doesn't it make you angry seeing people speak lightly of the great upheaval, Lila? Don't be silly. Go and find something to use as a weapon. You need to protect yourself if there's an emergency. Where are you going? I'm going to kill Claude. And, you know, this could be interpreted as, like, a serious statement, but it's funny because we know the entire deal with Claude coming here and everything. Also, Claude slipped out, so he's not actually going to be there with Kasek, is he? Last Resort, Part 1. Temple of Darkness meeting room. Claude couldn't come because of some urgent business? Is that urgent business more important than all of Rintalo? I'm not sure. I can answer that, says Kasek. Claude went back to keep the Rakshasa in Calibloom. We have murmuring from the crowd. At a time like this, it's very important to have the Rakshasa on the human side, since other people aside from Claude can maintain the barrier here. He decided it'd be better to go back to Calibloom and keep the Rakshasa there. I see. Is that the kind of logic that he persuaded you with? She produces a scroll. This is an official document from Calibloom. The Rakshasa, that you think is so important, isn't there anymore. He left Calibloom alone. Then, of course, we have the angst because of Kasek's entire relationship to this situation. I can't say that I'm disappointed, since I didn't expect anything from Claude anyway. Instead, we should talk about the problem that our city is facing. You must have seen that strange light on the way over here, and presumably the gate opening or summoning or however you want to word what Kubera is doing. We have Kubera there, in like full gold form with Sagara. Looks like it's almost ready. If this works, there won't be anyone on this planet who can stop us, right? Then we can just raid Rintalo and end this. It was a really rough journey. Now it's finally almost over. So Sagara is viewing this as like, you know, endgame if they are able to invade Rintalo. Also, so it seems like they're after the person with the god's name and all, but we don't know why necessarily or how deep this all goes. It just feels like when it comes to what their actual goals are and how the power of the name works and everything, all the characters are already here. Of course, there's still more we haven't met yet, but like all of these characters that are already here when it comes to the gods, the Gnostica that we already see, and the human characters and everything, it's like they're already here, but it feels like for every one of them, there's just so much that it's like, oh yeah, in 80 chapters, actually there are hundreds of chapters left, so it's like in 200 chapters, you'll learn this new thing about this character that's been here this entire time, because we're already 200 chapters deep overall, and there are times when it's like, oh yeah, these characters you've known this entire time, here's something new about them. Meanwhile, we have the mysteries going on, like with Asha and everything, that you're still not going to learn for a long time. And also, Sagara looks very youthful here. She looks really young compared to usual. Not that she usually looks old. It's just that, I guess usually she looks kind of mature, like, I don't know, like human equivalent 20s, but she looks kind of like human equivalent early teens in that panel, to me. Will you really be okay? Or maybe it's just the facial expression, where it's like we usually don't see that kind of expression from Sagara. Will you really be okay? With what? They say that she doesn't need to hunt, since she recharges vigor herself, but she's from an enemy clan. You may be putting yourself in danger by summoning a powerful enemy that you can't handle. I hear that she doesn't kill unless she has to, though. Plus, she's already promised to cooperate with us. You've gotten so naive, Sagara. You trust a promise with an enemy. Huh. What are you suddenly worried about me for? Don't worry. We're the ones who have the key. No matter how strong that bitch is, or what plans she has no choice but to do what we say, since we have what she wants. Just like when you used Gintarva's weakness to order him around. Man, and using that a little bit of manipulation, throwing what Kubera did back on him. Eloth Magic Guild. Mr. President, the opinion of the people in the lower ranks are disturbing. What? Or why? What are they saying? Well, they say that there are other urgent matters, but you're only concerned with something irrelevant. Tilda, does this look irrelevant to you? Well, to be honest, yes. Of course I think that it needs to be dealt with eventually, but I'm not sure if it has to be now of all times. And we see acquired divine affinity. True. This is interesting to note, because what Saha's working on, presumably of course, is the Asha murder investigation, so to speak. And from Tilda's perspective, well, not really Tilda's perspective, but the perspective that she's reporting from the people, it's like, yeah, we're in danger of literal Shura invasions, literal godlike creatures invading us. We are at the threat of that, and you're worried about years ago, like a murder investigation from an incident that happened years ago that was already determined not to be murder. But it is extremely interesting to note that Saha's like, yeah, this isn't irrelevant, this matters. So Saha might be seeing some connection between what Asha knows or can do and what's going on, which is a very solid connection to make, because there's still so much we don't know. And if Asha has this connection to Vishnu and can still use this kind of magic, then you would think, since Vishnu disappeared when it came to the Great Upheaval, then Asha might have more knowledge or something to share about the Great Upheaval. Well, to be honest, yes. Of course I think it needs to be dealt with eventually, but I'm not sure if it has to be now of all times. I see. So you think it's irrelevant as well. I respect your great morality, sir, but isn't the safety of the majority the more urgent matter here? Rentalu needs every help it can get right now. You know, Tilda, what I'm doing right now isn't unrelated to the safety of the people. I know, the fact that a murderer who killed 29 people is walking freely in the city right now is a problem, but it's not like Asha's doing anything right now. What if she's just about to do something? Asha's homicide is not over yet. There's still someone left who she hasn't killed. Plus, if the reason that she's been killing is what I think it is, something truly terrible will happen at the moment when the last person dies. Something beyond cities or planets. Something which may even threaten the universe itself. Again, there's so many options that I don't know what it is. By having Lise fully take over or take on the power of the name and killing Lise, who is, you know, if Asha's been going around killing people with potential gods' names, then killing Lise, if doing that after Lise inherits the power would kill God Kubera, then it's like, okay, is it possible to kill a god like that? But even if you do, you're just killing one god of many. So, what does that mean? Okay. Well, I guess the names of the gods are like the elements themselves, right? Agni literally is fire, right? So if you killed the name Agni, if you killed Agni himself somehow, like in a way where he couldn't resurrect from it, just fully erased Agni, then there just would be no fire anymore in the world of Kubera, right? So is there a chance that maybe, I mean, I don't know why Asha would do this, so I think that Saha's probably way on the wrong direction, but just theoretically, if Lise were to somehow get permanently killed after inhabiting the name of God Kubera, would it just make the concept of Earth disappear? I'm not sure how you have arrived at that conclusion, but is that why you're trying to summon Asha and interrogate her? She wouldn't answer, even if I question her. I don't expect much from that. We have to find and protect the person that Asha hasn't managed to kill while she's on the Arrow Plateau, before Asha kills that person. And we see the Kuberas like fully dangling out there, the Kubiris, with sort of future Lise. But, again, there's just so much. It's like, if the plan is to kill Kubera, I'm just still trying to figure out why, like, what that accomplishes. Like, even if that's a way to get back at God Kubera, I'm just wondering how so far, or like maybe not even necessarily how, but like the motives are not fully clear yet. How are we supposed to find the target that Asha hasn't killed yet? I know their real name, so I can definitely find the person if I search the human search system at the present time. And we see the few dots left in the world, but you can't use the human search system until next year. Besides, you said that you can't trust the other AAs anymore. That's right. That's why I'm going to ask a new AA for the favor. Okay, so Saha might be planning to pass Ron onto AA, and potentially even do it in exchange for using Ron. I'm going to expedite the AA vote for Ron Syrafay. Make the vote informal, since it's an urgent situation. Let him use the human search system as soon as he arrives in Eloth. And then, to be continued. Okay, this is, again, getting very, very, very deep into story content. I love being back with some of these characters. I love jumping around a bit. Can't wait to see more of Lila. And I love the mystery that's going on. Kubera's done really great at a lot of different things. So starting off, it starts off kind of like your typical shonen adventure type thing. And that's neat up through the Atera stuff. And it's deeper than usual because we're really doing a hard focus on the characters. Characters like Agni and Gandharva. And of course Lise getting tons of attention. But then we go into adventure mode, and the characters are traveling for a good long while. We still have good action, we have amazing comedy, and we still have great focus on the characters. It's really well done throughout the adventure, especially up until like towards the end when we're like really getting deep into like Lise and Kubera, some of the mystery with Asha, Ron's character a little bit, and then Yuta's character heavily. When we're getting into all of that stuff, it's like the adventure was done really well. And of course, like all the side things like I'm mentioning, like comedy's good, action's good, all of this is good, but it's really focused on the character stuff. But then moving into season 2, we pivot away and it's like, okay, we're not doing the adventure stuff anymore. Then we are almost like a slice of life thriller where we are hard focusing on just the characters. We have dozens of chapters that are basically just the characters hanging around the city talking with each other, and they are compelling. Like every time when I was reading, I am just sucked in to what they're doing, and it's mostly just chapters of characters sitting around talking to each other, and that's handled so well. And I think the early season 2 is like getting deeper into the characters than we ever did in season 1. Season 1 was really great with the characters, but early season 2, it's like that's the main course. That is like all we're doing is diving into the characters. Then we get into the action stuff with the big giant Gandharva invasion with everybody coming in, and then moving past that, we start getting into the Asha murder mystery stuff, and now it's going from adventure to the sort of thriller stuff to now kind of some mystery stuff. And we've always had mystery in Kubera, but I think it's been so good. We didn't have as much of it last time, but what was it, the time before last, or the arc chapter whatever before last, when we really were focusing on it. It's really good. The mystery is well written. It works so well. I mentioned before, those couple of weeks ago, that one of the reasons it works so well is because we've already had so much time with these characters and so much development for these characters, that now doing a mystery with them is like so much more impactful than if it was just new characters we were being introduced to. So yeah, it's just been incredibly good. Kubera's doing so many different things at like such an S tier kind of high level. It's crazy how good the writing is. Okay, with that aside though, so again, I love all these characters. I love how it just feels like you were rewarded for dozens upon dozens of chapters with how well everything just works together. How well the story flows is incredible. But either way, we need to read the afterward, so let's go check out the afterword. Okay, so I think this one was translated actually on the wiki, I think. But I just decided, you know, I kind of like going to the actual blog and then just hitting Google Translate on the page. So I kind of like doing it this way. So we have the pictures here, Rentalo, where day and night are easily confused. In this episode, you can see God Kubera's hair color. It's shiny, it's night. And then the priests of the planet Willarv, such as Brilith, Sierra, Teo, and Saha, are generally bright-hearted. Lila isn't like that. She's scary. But the problem is that this fear doesn't work on Claude. Then it's serious throughout, so at least one scene is in SD. I have no clue. Standard definition? Then Tilda doesn't leave work if Saha remains in the office. Sorry, even if you put pressure like that, Saha will feel sorry toward Tilda and wrap up what she was doing. Or I guess maybe wrap up what he was doing for Saha. So Saha is, I'm still assuming, has to be engaged to Lorraine, so it's interesting that he's just hanging around Tilda this whole time. So either way though, Tilda is like the sexy assistant. Tilda is one of the most attractive character designs we've had so far. But either way, very good chapter as always, but we still get to read 2 more, so let's go read. On to Last Resort Part 2, we have the Earth Temple. When Lutz is still there. Hey, when did you get here? I thought you were at the Magic Guild. Our meeting finished. Well, still there as in still in the same city. You went from the Magic Guild to the temple. Our meeting finished. I'm wondering whether I should return to Eloth or participate in the Grand Magician's Conference in Arrow Plateau. Shouldn't you go back to Eloth? You are a priest after all. You must have tons of documents to review, plus priests are often absent from Grand Magician's conferences. That's true. Helping a criminal escape. As a priest, I know you must have put a lot of thought in that decision. I'm very sorry that I can't follow your will. Will you not regret it? Regrets. I wouldn't have even used Hoti Vishnu in the first place if I was going to regret it. It was bound to come to light eventually, and that time is simply now. Why'd you decide to reveal it now after hiding it all this time? I thought about it a lot, but it seemed better, or this seemed like the better thing to do. I mean, you know, after all this time, if there were other people Asha could have brought back, then kind of it is what it is. Like I said before, you kind of don't want people to know that you do it, if at all possible, just because that means that everybody has somebody that they've lost or something bad that's happened. Everybody's going to want to come to you to be like, hey, is there any way, like, I put them in the freezer, is there any way you can bring them back to life? But with this, it's like, I feel like Teo, a priestess, the head of the Fighters Guild, that's such a huge thing, and that would be such a huge blow to Willarv on a planetary level to lose Teo, that to me, this seems like the way to go. Plus, there's also the fact that the one who froze Teo to save her was Gandharva, and if Asha kind of put two and two together on that, then being like, okay, Agnostica cared enough to kind of save this person, who again is a huge person in the world of Willarv, to save them, it's probably a good idea that I use, what revival I have for them, even if it reveals that I've had it all this time. So to me, not using it until now, like if I'm in Luce's position or anybody in the world of Kubera's position, not using it until now absolutely makes sense. I would want to basically not let anybody know I could do it for the most part. But using it specifically for Teo, being like, okay, this is an extreme circumstance, even if I have to reveal that I can use it, now's the time to do so. I think Teo is such a special circumstance that it makes sense to me. Are you saying you've decided to turn yourself in out of guilt? No, I wouldn't be able to do this kind of thing if I had any sense of guilt left. I got rid of that emotion long ago. Don't worry, I plan on going to Aero Plateau as ordered, and I'll participate in the investigation for now. You and your brother, you seem so different, and yet you have something in common, being able to follow the light, in spite of having such an unfortunate past. Sierra, when does the transport ship to Aero Plateau leave from here? What do you mean? The transport ship for mail delivery, or if you mean the transport ship for mail delivery, it leaves tomorrow. If you miss it, it comes back a week later. Or you could also go to Eloth and use a proper passenger ship. Oh yeah? Then. Okay, so is Lutz going to plan to do something here? We have Last Resort Part 2. So Asha saved you when your village was attacked by a high-rank Shura, and that's how you ended up traveling with her? And you have no idea why your village was attacked. Yeah, I don't know the reason. I'll leave out the part about my name. I made a promise with Asha, and my mom told me to keep it a secret after all. And you're saying that you got the Golden Knight by chance, and you lost consciousness right before drawing the Sword of Return, so you have no idea what happened after that. Yeah. Did he notice that I left something out? But the man told me not to talk about him. Alright, I won't ask you anymore. If you say so, then that's the way it is. Either that or I really have no rights to hear it. And she reacts. Ron, I'm sorry. I didn't tell you everything. You believed me, but I wasn't honest. Are you stupid? How can you admit you were dishonest? Man, you really are honest. I love her face. This is a really good Lee's face. I love this one. Anyway, it's my turn now. Am I? Okay, just making sure I was on the right screen for all of you. Anyway, it's my turn now, since you told me first. I told you before that I called you Chicky or Baby Chick because I didn't like calling you Lee's. Part 2, Episode 38. That's because it makes me think of someone I know. The guy whose picture you saw at the Fighters Academy. And then we see Rowley's. Rowley's, we were actually really close. I feel like she could tell him this though, right? Like she isn't actually trying to keep her father a secret, is she? And then we were actually really close. We were so close that I know about something that not even the people around him knew. He told me before he left for Carte that he was going to be a father soon. His child was probably born around the 10th month of year-end 0. The kid must be strong just like him. With a big... okay, so he might have already just put it together and he's going to confront her with this. Strong just like him, with a big appetite, getting lots of sleep, laughing lots, and maybe having curly hair like him, not suspecting anything. A person who wouldn't hesitate to jump to sacrifice their own life. The kid's a pureblood, but I bet he or she can use transcendentals, and is probably able to use magic without calculations, and would handle godly items without any problems. Well, being someone's kid doesn't mean you'll be just like them. She may not even be a very impressive person. You may be disappointed. He looks over and she is very, very much not hiding this well. Whoever Rao's child is, it doesn't matter. There's a kid who's lost her home and is facing a difficult situation, and I'm able to help her. And I've grown fond of her. So I want to tell you, come with me, Lise. Well, since I'm a guy, unlike Asha, I'm just telling you this in advance, so there aren't any misunderstandings. I'm just saying I want to support you. I don't have any bad intentions, none at all. I mean, I already have someone back in my hometown, although it's only one-sided. And we get the cutaway to Sirana. You have a girlfriend? Well, you are a university student. At your age, it'd be strange if you didn't have a girlfriend. Sorry for being strange. The tears of a single man. Lise doesn't know much about university. I mean, she didn't even go to, Lise, we have to remember, didn't even actually go to grade school, right? But I've been with Asha this whole time. If I leave Asha and follow you... Asha's already abandoned you. You were the only one who thought of Asha as a companion, Ron's mind. Of course, I can't keep depending on Asha forever. But there's something I really want to do, and Asha said she would teach me how to do it. Asha's the only one who told me about the Sword of Return, too, and about practicing Transcendentals and Bhavati Kubera. Hey, Lise, I haven't told you yet, but actually I've already spoken to Asha. Let's forget that we ever talked about that. I've been so busy lately that we haven't met in a while. Long time no see, Lise. Ron, you have to go to Eloth for the AA vote. But I have to take a transport ship to Aero Plateau tomorrow. So, Lise, you can choose for yourself. Would you like to go to the Aero Plateau with me? Or would you like to part ways with me here? Okay. So, this might be why Lutz was asking. So, Asha's taking the transport ship instead of going to Eloth. And Ron's going to be separating off and going to Eloth. Which means that if Lutz is trying to protect Asha from consequences, he might mess with the ship in some way. Does he hijack it and fly her somewhere else? Or does he go with her? Like, I don't know what the actual plan is here, but I feel like that's why that information is important for Lutz now. Do you want to live or die? To be continued. Man, and it's so... Like, Asha's smile here is so creepy. Because it went from before just being like, okay, you need to do this and you need to do that, to now being like, oh, don't you want to come with me? Like, it's so out of character and different from what she's been portraying to Lise that, I don't know, things have gotten really rough here. We're having a split here, and you know Lise is probably going to go with Asha. Which is going to be a dangerous choice, but it's the choice that the plot has to go. But either way, let's go read the afterword. So the blog for this one, Asha, instead of escaping, is trying to go to Aero Plateau on her own. What on earth is she thinking? Then, Mother's words, did he originally call Roots Young? Your mother called you Young a lot. Reference I do not get. There are some people who are always surprised by the gender of the character. It's the same for Sierra, but it's even worse for Asha. In the last episode, there were even people who realized for the first time that Asha was a woman because Saha referred to her as her. Rana is Ron's ideal type, so it's obvious that it would be painful to talk about it over and over again, refer to the rival chapter. But we're not lovers, so you shouldn't lie, Ron. Okay, very fun, but kind of light. Either way, let's go to episode 109, I guess. Alright, 109, Last Resort Part 3, getting us to the halfway point. Ron, aren't you having any chicken? I know you were full before, so you didn't eat, but you must be hungry by now. That's a very cute panel. That's a really adorable panel. Hey, Chickie, how could you do this? Phew, I'm back to being the Chickie. I know you like Asha, but couldn't you at least pretend to think about the question? What about everything I told you? I'd finally decided to open up when Asha showed up, and she didn't even hesitate for a second. Jeez. Hey Ron, Asha hadn't spoken to me in ages. I thought I would lose her forever if I didn't answer right away. I told you before, there's something I have to do, and Asha agreed to show me how. I really appreciate your suggestion, but I have to do that first. What exactly is it that you have to do? Can't I help you with it? Well, it's not that you couldn't help me. Then what's the problem? Why are you being so insistent on it being with Asha? Because it could kill you. And they both look over. Are you sure you wouldn't mind dying? When you have a girlfriend, Ron Syrafe. Then, Last Resort Part 3. What's with this confusing question? Sudden confusing question. What about you? Don't you care about dying? Answering with a question is the best plan at times like these. Of course I do. Who wouldn't care about dying? Hey, then why would you ask me that? I'm just trying to say that it'd be very dangerous for you. It's fine for me. But with your level of skill, you'd end up getting yourself killed while trying to help Lise. And the pain. I see. Sorry for being such a pathetic loser. If that's the problem, you shouldn't have even said it to me in the first place. I didn't intend on staying with Lise any longer anyway. We're going to split up soon, so you can take care of Lise after that, Mr. Ron Syrafe. I intend on bombarding her with insults. That'll make her never want to come back. After all those threats back then, now you want to show up and ask Lise, want to go with me. How can you just change your mind like that? Does it make you feel good playing around with people like this, huh? You probably think everyone around you are a bunch of pushovers for being hurt by you. When I said that I would part ways with Lise, it was under the condition that she abandons her goal. But it looks like I was wrong. Seeing how she just mindlessly eats and sleeps, I assumed she didn't have any kind of drive. And she gets insulted again. She's just trying to enjoy her chicken. This is fucking driving me nuts. This goes beyond it just being unfair for me. I won't sit here and listen to you treat Lise goes beyond it just being unfair for me. I won't sit here and listen to you treat Lise like some mindless child. She doesn't deserve to hear those kinds of things from you. You've never seen Lise studying, have you? Neither have I, and yet she's read the entire Bhavati Kubera book and is practicing it outside. When do you think she's read that whole book? She was in her room studying when we thought she was asleep. And she only took naps because she had exhausted her vigor from practicing transcendentals. And I love how, like, Kurigom's like, I have the receipts, bringing these panels back up. And whenever I didn't see her practice all day, it was because she was out all day practicing transcendentals and magic. And I heard she's even floated off the ground using Bhavati Kubera recently. Does she have to study right in front of your face for you to notice? You can tell just from looking at her results. You must know well how difficult Bhavati Kubera is. Even Earth attribute magic students have to take special classes from experts for a month, just to even have a chance of being able to use it. It's incredible that Lise has managed to start figuring it out on her own, without even a teacher in such a short period of time. Neither you or I can even teach her since we don't have Earth attribute spells. And then Bhavati magic can only be used by magicians born with attributes that match it. That really is exceptional. I didn't think she'd be able to float so quickly. Lise, how exactly did you practice the spell? That's not what matters right now. What I'm trying to say is that you didn't know because you didn't pay attention to her. Lise has been... This is more important than that. Lise, answer me. How did you practice? And again, we don't know the details of Lisa's power of the name type stuff, so there is always the chance that Asha's being a real jerk. Asha's being a real jackass, but Lise could actually be like crazy dangerous or something for all we know, and Asha might have a reason for this. And then we're cutting away to Yuta now. And protect your reason for being in this city. If I can't change the reason, keeping the one I have right now is still better than becoming enemies. Could you come with us to fight in another city? If you do, I'll bring Lise with us. So Claude was right. I guess he really did bite her. I'm so scared. I guess I shouldn't have followed them. How badly did he bite her? To put her on the verge of death? Did he eat her tongue or something? How terrifying. Why is Ron overacting like that? As long as she can regenerate herself, it's not like she'll die. Okay. And now his eyes are colored in blue. So is he, like, inciting all of these people? Not inciting them, but insight. them. Well, kind of both. Small sacrifices must be made for the greater good. And then, as long as we have a Rakshasa like that on our side... Besides, that Lee's girl isn't much use to us anyway. From among those which were spoken and which were internal thoughts, I'm not sure. Do I even need to sort that out? It's even more honest if it was coming from their minds. Lise. I miss Lise. She's only ever told me nice things. What could she be doing now? Whatever she's doing, I hope she keeps the scarf wrapped around her. Otherwise, it'll be hard for me to protect her. Have you finished eating? Yeah, brother, thanks to you. You still haven't gotten rid of your habit of eating things alive, have you? You know me. I don't do this because I like it. This way, I can kill less creatures and last longer. I get hungry again right away if I don't eat live prey, so I'd have to sacrifice more lives. So you have to keep filling yourself up regardless of how much vigor you have, even after you've grown. Yeah, and the hunger gets worse each time I grow. The bloodline of chaos is a tiresome one. Since hunting is optional for the other Shuras, which is optional for the other Shuras, has become mandatory for you. It can't be helped. I don't want to become a real monster that only ever thinks about eating. So this is interesting. The other ones only eat to gain XP, basically, whereas he has to eat. I received an order from Akasha to bring you to her. She said to bring both you and Kalavinka, to be precise. She says one of you must be the reason why her father collapsed. It wasn't you, since you're in the Shura realm right now. It must be one of the other two. She said that a problem occurred when the wall between realms closed with the power of our name in the human realm. She thinks that our father will probably wake up if I bring the two of you to the Shura realm. Okay, so the problem occurred when the walls were closed with the power of our name. And it's weird, our name. I see. So that's why she told you to bring me to her. There wouldn't have been a misunderstanding if you'd told me in the first place. So that confirms then that it probably is Kalavinka? And it's crazy, we've gotten so much Marana and Yuta, we have gotten like no Kalavinka yet. If Garuda doesn't wake up, even after you bring your siblings. Anyway, now that you've told me everything as promised, so if it isn't Kalavinka, then it means that something even worse has happened, basically. Or it might mean that he can never wake up, so they basically need to eat him and make a new king. Anyway, now that you've told me everything as promised, I just have to find Kalavinka and open a gate to the Shura realm for you, right? Just wait a bit longer. I'll handle both things for you. Alright, but there isn't a lot of time, Jatayu. Since there's a good chance the one coming through the gate right now isn't going to show you any mercy. And we have her stepping through. We see how she looks now, which of course isn't going to be any different because I don't think she ages anymore. Okay. Well, that is the last one for this week. 3 incredibly good chapters. It's so crazy. It is so crazy that so much happened this chapter that I'm still thinking about last chapter, and so much happened last chapter that I had completely forgot just how much happened in the first chapter we read. Crazy. So much has happened. 3 very, very good chapters. I think the first one was maybe, I don't know, I was going to say maybe the deepest when it comes to character and story stuff, but then the character stuff got deeper in the second one, even if we weren't getting as much into the mystery and everything. And here in the third one, it was a little bit shorter than the first 2, but not by much. And we still got so much good stuff with Ron and Asha and Lise in the first part of the chapter. Gosh, so good. Kubera is an incredible series. Let's go read the afterword, though, before I end the video. Alright, afterward this time is there are some people who say that it's a mistake if Yuta and Marana have wings and then lose them. It's not a bug. You can control whether there are wings or not. I don't call her Chick at the end of every sentence like I used to. I almost always call her Lise. But it was mentioned once at the beginning of part 1 that the Bhavati magic requires a birthday attribute. It's been so long that you may have forgotten, so I added a simple sentence as a comment. if you watch the show again, you won't see any scenes of Lee's practicing directly, but there are clues here and there that she's still practicing. This is also an intentional part, similar to episode 5. At first glance, it seemed Lee's was just playing around, so they intentionally hid all the practice scenes. But since it's difficult to just make a sudden statement without any foreshadowing, there are many clues to prove that they were practicing. Just look back at the scenes that Ron mentioned in this episode. I think that that's really, really, really good. You can't just, like, a lot of series would just be like, oh, she practiced off screen, or you have to assume they're doing it off screen. But Kurigam actually leaves in actual evidence of it. Anyway, many people caught this in advance. There were many clues in the story, and I think the scene where it was said that he appeared as Bhavati Kubera was decisive. It seems like the sounds that Yuta hears are indistinguishable from actual speaking, right? That's so interesting too, because it's got to be important for you to figure out the difference between what people are thinking and what people are saying out loud. This is probably a power that, much like I said with Asha, you probably want to hide that you can do this. And also, there's the moral aspect of it, of is Yuta going to be comfortable with reading people's minds, because that's a bit of an invasion of privacy. Then the part of Akasha that cannot be humanized is the area around her eyes, which is always covered. It was briefly visible before. The flashback cut where Ron was talking about Lee's was originally in black and white, but it seemed like there were a lot of misunderstandings. I just changed it to color with low saturation. It also marked which episode it is, so please note that this is not a picture I hastily made for the episode, but an original scene. Okay, very, very good stuff. Incredibly good set of 3 chapters. I'm gonna throw this up here while we do the outro. I loved it. I really, really, really loved this set of chapters. But I don't think I have too much else to say, so I'll go ahead and end the video. Thank you so much for watching, though. I guess with that all aside, thank you for watching. Like if you did like the video, comment down there, tell me what you thought of these chapters, my first thoughts and reaction and everything. I'm actually getting a little bit hungry, so I'm feeling a little bit off, feeling a little bit scatterbrained at this second. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, follow on Twitter if you want. If you want a link to the Discord server, it is free and open for anyone. Just ask and you can get a link. If you would like to help support the channel to help me to continue to make videos by dropping a super thanks, that's appreciated. If you would like to help support the channel by becoming a patron or channel member, you get your name at the end of videos, you get One Piece videos a bit early. Just hit join down below to become a member. Go to patreon.com/Haku of the Tubes, or a link will be in the description to become a patron. Yeah, hit down below to become join down below to become a member. Thank you to people who are already members and patrons. Thank you to chosen regulars Evan Hawley and Bertie Wooster, to Magical Girls FR Nono, JA, and the D-Band, to Cherryton students, David Langstaff and Folded Gold, to Slayer candidates, SG and Stan Cedar, and to Pure Element Pater Diallo. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for watching. If you would, please go vote in the Tower of God character poll. But yeah, either way, that's it. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all next time.